Hey guys, it's Ian from Stark Pursuit, and I'm going to quickly show you how to service a jammed spring in your ZetaMag. Now, a jammed spring can happen if the spring was not properly compressed, tangled, and then will not feed or return the follower back to the top. What we have to do is separate the shells just enough to remove the follower and the main spring, straighten them out, drop them back in, and get back to business. Now, we tell you not to disassemble the entire magazine, and we mean it. There's a lot of small parts in here that we don't want to get lost, and they're under tension, and assembling it would be very difficult without the proper tooling. So we're going to separate and disassemble these shells just enough without pulling everything apart. The tools you're going to need are a standard Phillips screwdriver and a standard flathead. You may also need a smaller flathead or small tool depending on how far down your spring is jammed. So we're going to start by unscrewing the stainless steel spring on the side we want to separate. We don't need to take the screw all the way out. It's a thread cutting screw, and we don't want to strip the threads, and we don't want to lose the screws. We're going to pull out just enough that we can separate. Okay, now we're going to take the flathead, and we're going to separate these shells, popping the tabs, and we're going to go to 3. You don't need more than 3. That should be enough to separate just enough to get everything out. Now, we're going to take our screwdriver, and we're going to tease out the follower to the end. Once we get down there, should wiggle out like so. Set that aside. Now we want to get the spring out. I'm going to grab my small tool just to give it a little extra depth. I'm going to just kind of push that up toward the top. Alright, once it gets close enough, we're going to reach in, grab it. There we go. So, there's our spring. It's a little curled, but for the most part it's straight. What we can do is, the spring wants to go back to its original shape, so we're just going to kind of massage it by twisting it in the direction of the coils and give it a little bit of love and get it as straight as we can. It may be difficult to get it completely straight, but you want to do the best you can to make it as close as you can. You don't want any major kinks or anything. Okay? Now it's important to note that if you do get a jammed spring in your ZetaMag and you haven't started to service it yet, don't take your ramrod or any other tool and start jamming the spring on top of itself. If you overdo it, you can permanently damage your spring, and then you just need a new spring because this is not recoverable. Okay, so if you get a jam, stop what you're doing and just start to service it like so. So this is about as straight as we're going to get it. If you want to just kind of sit there and fiddle with a little more, you can get it pretty straight. That's pretty good. Now what we're going to do is just drop it back in. So, the tapered spring, so we want the small end at the top so it can straddle inside of the follower. I push the follower in, clear your detent. Okay, once you're in, just snap the shells back together, like so. Screw your screw back in. Now you don't have to muscle this. Most of the shell is held together by the tabs. This is just a little extra. Once it stops, don't overdo it. Alright, now we're assembled. Now let's test it and make sure we're in good shape. Take our loading rod, press it down, locks just like it's intended. Take the loading rod back in, release. Perfect. One more time just for a show. All the way down till it locks. Perfect. Release. Bam. Perfect. There you go. And that is how you service the jam spring on the ZetaMag. If you have any questions or other concerns, contact us at support@starkpursuit.com. Thanks.